Now here's the thing. In that moment, when I realized that I had always viewed myself as not possessing inherent worth, I also in that instant realized that that could not be true. That it could not be true that I don't possess inherent value. And in my mind, I looked out at the world, at all the other people out in the world, and I realized they all also possess inherent value. I had never perceived other people that way either. That was another huge realization I had in that instant, that because of the way I view myself, I also applied the same rules that I applied to myself to the world of humanity. And instantly, because this was an epiphany, it was kind of like an overwhelming realization of profound depth and scope, but I remember realizing also how this had affected the way that I view and treat people. For example, I remember having a conversation with somebody one time, and there was a big heavy woman in the group where I was at, and they were talking about her and her worth and everything, and I remember thinking, well, she doesn't take care of herself. What's all this worth they're talking about her having? She doesn't even take care of herself. She's big and heavy and doesn't take care of her looks. She doesn't brush her hair. She's very frumpy. What's this worth they're talking about? And I even said to somebody, by you folks drilling into her head that she has inherent value no matter what, look at the results. She's not going to be motivated at all to better herself, to lose weight, to pretty herself up in the morning, all as a direct result of you folks telling her that she doesn't have to work for anything. She's already got worth. Now, if you're listening to me say that and you're saying, well, that makes sense, I agree with what Brian was saying there. This is the distorted thinking I'm talking about, that I'm often talking about. It's so sly. You see, it does make sense based on the false premise you're working from. The false premise being that your worth comes from the way you look. It comes from your weight. It comes from how many people like you, or how attractive you are to other people, or what you've got. That's not where worth comes from. And when you get healthy, you realize that it is that false belief system, the belief system that your worth is dependent on what other people think of you, that, you see, if you believe that your worth is dependent upon what other people think of you, what that means is that you're not supplying the worth. Like, your existence is not what's creating it. What's creating it is what other people think. So it's completely dependent on something outside of yourself, on what other people think. It's that unhealthy belief system that leads people to not take care of themselves. On the other hand, the healthy and truthful belief system that says our worth is inherent to us, that we supply it, our existence is what supplies it, that belief system leads to better health, a person caring for themselves. It leads to inner contentment and peace, which necessarily then means that a person is not self-medicating with food, drugs, alcohol, because they're experiencing peace and contentment within themselves. You see, so my thinking at the time when I was unhealthy, that false belief system had it completely backwards. But anyway, I said to the guy, well, look at her, she doesn't even take care of herself. And you guys are saying she has worth, and what motivation is she ever going to have to improve herself? And he knew what was going on inside of my brain. He knew I had it all twisted up. And I remember him saying to me, are you saying that she has less worth because of her weight? And I said, oh, no, I'm not saying that. But that is what I was saying. It's just that I knew that I had just outed myself and said something that's not supposed to be said out loud. And then I felt like he was going to judge me for that. That's why I took it back. But the truth is, that really was my perspective on the matter. I really did think people's value, an individual's value, could lessen and diminish based on their appearance and their weight. Terrible, terrible, sick attitude to live with. So if that's an attitude you live with, I hope you folks will work on that and try to have the breakthrough moment that I had and that I've tried to describe for you in the past. It changed my life, that epiphany, because I went on to build upon it for many years after that. I'm still building upon it.